and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Sierra, also known as C's Library, and this is my end of the month bookish recap and reset. So let's get started with the January recap. I read 15 books this month and I felt it was a very productive and very good month of reading, so let's get into those books. My first book of the year was an arc from NetGalley called The Storyteller's Tale, and I gave it a 3.25 stars. My second book of the month was another arc from NetGalley called The Dragon Queen, and I gave this one a 2-star rating. My third book of the month was one of my extreme hopefuls for this year, and it is Beneath These Cursed Stars, and this one I gave a 4.5 star rating. My next read was Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur, and I gave this one a 2-star rating. Going along with poetry, the next one up was self-love poetry, and I gave this one a 3-star rating. Then my next book was my first 5-star read of 2025, Blood of Hercules. My next book up was a romance book called The Infinite Moment of Us, and I gave this one a 2-star rating. Next up was a manga, Villains Are Destined to Die, and I gave this one a 5-star rating. And I don't have it because I gave it back because I borrowed it from my sister-in-law, so here it is. 2 more mangas that I read this month, and they were both arcs from NetGalley, and it is Fall in Love You False Angels, which I gave a 4-star rating, and I Want to Love You Till Your Dying Day, which I gave a 2-star rating. My next up was Blood Metal Bone, which I gave a 2-star rating. My next one up was on my Kindle, on Kindle Limited, and I read Holmes, Marple, and Poe, which I gave a 2.25 star rating. I also read this huge Greek mythology and legends book, which I gave a 3.5 star rating. I finish off the month with 2 more arcs from NetGalley, and those are Battle of the Bookstores, which I gave a 4.75 star rating, and Woven from Clay, which I gave a 3.5 star rating. Since I read 6 arcs this month, I wanted to go into a little spoiler-free review for each of them so that you guys can hear about these arcs. As I mentioned earlier, my first arc of the month was The Storyteller's Tale, which I thought was a really interesting one when I read about it on NetGalley, because our main character is a wordsmith where she could bring stories to life by reading them out loud, like literally create illusions of them. I thought that sounded really cool, and so I picked it up, ready and excited for it. I felt that the writing style wasn't exactly catching my attention. The plot didn't really have a lot of unique features to it, which I find is common in the fantasy world lately, but I felt myself not super interested in what's going to happen next. So as excited as I was for this one, I didn't feel like it was perfect for me. I did still think it was a good novel, but either way, I just gave it a 3.25 star. My second arc of the month was The Dragon Queen, which I gave a 2-star rating. It's advertised as teen/YA, and I honestly felt that it was more middle grade. It followed the hero's journey to a T, and it felt a little bit like there was no surprises to be held and nothing exciting and new in it too much. I don't have much more to say about it other than it was kind of more middle grade. It didn't feel like teen even, so yeah, I didn't really like that one very much. I gave it a 2-star because I finished it. My third arc of the month was Fall in Love You False Angels, which was my first manga arc I've ever gotten, and I was really excited for it, and I do think it lived up to that potential. So essentially the 2 main characters are these leads, like heads of the school, co-presidents, and they're very popular, they're very likable, everyone looks up to them, but they have this other side to them that they don't want anyone to see, especially each other. But when that secret gets revealed to each other, what happens next, you know? It's exciting, it's cute. I think the art style is amazing, and I do think this would be great as an anime later down the line. And I will probably be reading more of this one. My next arc was also manga. It is I Want to Love You Till Your Dying Day, and I thought the art style was really cute on this one. I thought the concept was pretty unique. So essentially, these kids from bad homes or orphaned are brought to this school where they are trained with magic for war. Our main character seems to be the only one that really doesn't like this idea, doesn't want to go to war. Everyone else sees that there's glory in it, or like, I don't know. Anyways, our main character, she does not like this idea. She does not like being there. She finds it all gory and bad, and kids are dying. I mean, it's a little dark. The other main character, she is this secret weapon of the school. And they don't seem like they would get along, but they get put together as roommates, and it's kind of about their story together and going through the school and stuff. I think it's an interesting one. There were some things in there that bothered me a lot. For instance, it is an LGBT manga, but there is a trans character who I feel gets a lot of hate throughout the first volume that I read, and I felt that was uncomfortable. I don't feel like it can be advertised as LGBT friendly if it doesn't include all parts of that. So I gave this a 2-star, and I wasn't a huge fan of that aspect. I probably won't read again. My next arc and my favorite arc of the month is Battle of the Bookstores. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this one because it is a romance, and as you may know, I'm not super big on romances, but I did really like this one. So essentially, there's 2 rival bookstores, and the person who owns both of them is going to combine them into one larger bookstore. So these owners are competing to see who would be these managers, are competing to see who will be the manager of the new, bigger bookstore. It is a Rivals to Lovers. It is very cute, and I loved it so much. It was cute and dramatic in all the right places. All the characters had backstories that led them. All of their actions had purpose and reason behind them. I just found its writing of it entirely beautiful, and it was amazing, and I liked it a lot. Even our side characters showed amazing growth, and I would definitely recommend this book. It was a 4.75 stars for me. And then my final read of the month, and the final arc of the month, Woven from Clay, also provided by NetGalley, I gave a 3.5 stars. Essentially, this follows a golem who doesn't know she's a golem, and a witch bounty hunter type person who is coming to find and arrest the warlock who created her. And so to save her own life as well as her friends, she must find a way to save this warlock's life, with the help of this bounty hunter who is not so sure whether he should be helping her at all. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. I thought it was pretty unique. I liked the concept behind all of it. I felt that there were times that the book was a little slow for me. I wasn't sure if I was going to always like it. Sometimes I didn't want to pick up the book. I just felt like there were other things I could be doing. So I felt like there were some points that weren't there for me, but other points that I really did enjoy this book. So 3.5 stars. And that's about it for my January recap. So let's talk about the challenges and where I'm at so far with my goals. So I finally decorated my journal cover, so I wanted to give you a look of that. Then let's move on to some of the challenges here. So for my book bingo challenge, I did my 2025 release, obviously with all those arcs. I did a book off of Libby. I did Sitting on My Shelf, a 5-star read, poetry, a book I will be offloading, my book talk recommended, folktale, hardcover, and a book that's borrowed from my sister-in-law. Let's look at my updated reading trackers and other things in my journal so far. My book of the month had to be Blood of Hercules because I felt so many emotions through this. I wanted to binge this whole series. I did read this really fast. I loved every little bit of it, and I'm excited for the sequel in October. Just look at the journal. It's getting chunky already. I love all of my reviews in it, which you can see more of on my Instagram at @seas.library. And I love this journal, every bit of it so far, and I'm so excited to keep using it. So for January, I did not buy any books. I'm hoping to get some pre-orders in February for other books I'm looking forward to, such as Bonds of Hercules. But I didn't buy anything in January. I did buy a lot in December, so that does make sense right now. But I don't have any new buys. For my January goals, my year goal is 140, obviously. And I am at 15 out of 140, which I think is a good percentage, considering it's only been a month. So I'm excited. And I think I'll be able to manage 140. For my January goal of reading 2 poetry books, I clearly did that. I only read 2 this month. I think that was okay. I don't have a lot of poetry books on hand here. I did want to read them this year, so that way they would, if I didn't want them, they could be offloaded. So I think I did good with that. Obviously, I managed to achieve that goal. So I'm excited for what the rest of the year will bring with poetry. For February, I have a goal of reading and annotating at least one nonfiction book. I did manage to read kind of a nonfiction with that Greek myths and legends last month, which was part of my goals for each month. So I am hoping that I will annotate one this month, and hoping it'll catch my attention a little bit better than that one did, because it took me like over a week to read that one. My hopefuls for February include Foxglove and, how do I show this? Redeeming 6. Correction, I said Redeeming 6 earlier. I meant Saving 6, because that would be weird if I went out of order, and I have not read Saving 6 yet. I don't want to put too much stress on this next month, because I felt like there were times this month where I was in like a lull where I didn't really feel like reading, but I also felt like I had to. I don't want to put that pressure on myself, so I'm only keeping a small amount of hopefuls, including those two, but I am going to pull out at least one from my little basket here since I made this, and I read all of the ones that I pulled out last time, so I want to see what I will get. The Gilded Crown. So this will also be on my hopefuls for this month. And that's about it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more videos like this. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Happy reading. Oh, I didn't even say one. 1, 2, 3. And then me? And that's about it for me. I'm gonna do that one more time because the hair went into my mouth. I'm done.